A warm welcome to the Welcome Talk community. I'm Glenn, your host. Today we have joining us Owners Unity. We've got Das, Professor Chaos and Golden Hands here from the core team to talk about the project today. But before we go into that, guys, can you tell us about yourself and how you got involved in the crypto industry?
Yeah, sure. I'll go first. Hi, my name's Scott Shearer. Das is my tag. I'm originally from England. I now live just outside of Gdansk in Poland. I got into crypto in 2018. A friend of mine, Chris Seal, did mention to me in 2011 about a thing called Bitcoin. And like a lot of people back then, I said, I'm not interested. Then in 2018, I purchased my first coin, which was Cardano. And I've been involved ever since then, purchasing a few bits and bobs here and there. I've been involved in construction, renewables, business consultancy most of my life. I started off as a labourer, then a ground worker in construction, worked for a few bits, started working for a project management software company called 4Projects, one of the largest PM software companies for construction globally. Then I went into renewables, started doing a bit with regards to energy consulting. And then in 2013, I opened my own business consultancy. And I've been dealing with, bits and bobs since then. So that's my background.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is Rupraj. I'm known as Golden Hands in DeFi space. I'm basically from India. I've got 14 years of experience into IT. I'm basically an Amazon solution architect. I designed the complete architecture of IT platform. In crypto, I've got more than 5 years of experience. I have worked for multiple projects. I was one of the initial investors in Owners Unity token. Then I was given a chance to handle the operations by Scott. What I liked about the project was the concept. Real estate into crypto was a little unique for me. So I joined the team and handling the operations.
Hi guys, I'm Professor Chaos. I've been in crypto for a couple of years now. I've only been in the Owners Unity team for about 6 months or so. Been around the block in crypto, done various different bits, quite a bit of experience in the BSc. Outside of crypto, I work as a tech lead for a bank. So I've got quite a heavy software development experience. And for Owners Unity, I help out with marketing and development.
Okay, thanks very much for the introduction, guys. So maybe we can start around the property portfolio, if you like. Is it going to be like rental income? Are there going to be resales, doing up the properties and reselling them? Is it mainly in the UK? Or Scott's mentioned there he moved to Poland, so would you be looking at property investments there? Can we sort of go into that for investors?
Yeah, sure, not a problem. It's a unique concept, so we need to take a step back and not look at it as any traditional form of property or realty business as is. So the way that it works is we will be purchasing the properties ourselves. We will be placing clients in situ in accordance with our OUPP product, and then we will be utilizing DeFi as well as the real world utilities that we have to make it easier for people to get onto the property ladder. And then we will be placing people in homes. They will then get to own those homes. We're not loaning any monies. We have dealt with the FCA in the UK. So we've had our business model vetted and it's fit for purpose. It will be a global product. We will be available wherever we are requested. And because our business model is simple, at this moment in time, we know for a fact we can trade in Australia, We've had the documents checked in Australia. We've had the documents checked in India, the UK, obviously. The EU has pretty similar regulations, so we're pretty sound with a few changes we can work throughout the EU. America, pretty much a similar situation, but state to state, there are some variables that we would need to look at. But it is not a traditional rental type product. We're looking to actually try and return a bit of power back to the consumer and the client by building out a new business model that helps them. It negates the amount of dead revenue that is generated from their income, which increases their spend and assists them in hopefully having a better standard of living overall.
I see, Scott. And is it like affordable renting, or did you say they're going to be paying a mortgage on it? Are they, and what's the sort of criteria to check their financial situation, and the payments are coming in monthly? Is there any profit share in there, or you said you're going to make it more affordable for people? Sorry, but if you hold the token, is there any benefits from the property portfolios?
Yes. All of our utilities. So the property portfolio is just one of the utilities of our business model. There are other utilities that we provide with our business model in real world and the crypto space, which all generate revenue. That revenue goes into our tokenomics system. The tokenomics system then divides the revenue, and it is rewarded to the token holders, the clients in situ, not only in the property management, but it can be utilised for the clients of the other utilities that we are planning to build moving forward. We'll have a DApp where people can see the revenue coming in and be able to follow its process, hence the use of blockchain, and they'll know where the revenue is coming and going. We do have specific checks for people, so it's not, we're not just letting anyone in. They'll still have to go through a check, but we do an affordability check as opposed to a strict credit check. So we try to make sure that the humanity remains in the process.
Okay, great. And you've also got the real world utilities energy brokerage. That's reduced cost business UK energy deals. Is that concentrating on the UK? Are you looking to get better deals for small and large businesses?
Yeah, sorry about that. I forgot to unmute. We've just signed a partnership a couple of weeks ago with energy professionals out of Clearwater, Florida. So we are now capable of also trading in the 2060 regulated states in the US. We're looking into Australia and India at the moment. We have contacts through my relationships in the industry so that we can trade in the EU. It's business to business, but all of our utilities interact with other utilities. So it's business to business to generate revenue. But the other side of that is we can then sign up retail contracts, and we can put the retail contracts into the portfolio, which is tied to the property, and that will reduce the amount of spend that the clients have to make from their revenue, therefore making their revenue go further. And just on the touching on the energy business, this is just why we chose these industries, because they're robust. In 2022, the revenue for the whole energy industry in the UK alone was £97 billion. They reckon, according to Reuters, that the utility profits will go up in excess of £170 billion over the next 2 years. And Ofgem have estimated that there's about 1,000 third-party providers that currently operate in the domestic markets. And in that domestic market, 67% of small businesses and micro businesses use a broker. So there's a large portion of the market out there that's available.
I'm glad you branched out the UK. I think it's coming down the prices now, but last year, all the sort of which ones are they called? Where you can find a good deal on, on the websites.
Yeah, we've got one as well. Price comparison website.
Oh right, cool. So how long have you had that, and does it generate revenue? Is it back up and running? Because for about 12 months, they all shut down offering energy deals because we were all at the top sort of tier price as well.
Yeah, no, the problem is that they couldn't hold their price books for any longer than a week. So it was, they were cancelling the price books before before you even had a chance to go open them on Excel. So they have opened again. The prices are stabilised, but the thing is, Glenn, is that all of these companies, the wholesale price didn't actually increase that much. They just increased their prices. So it's what they always do, isn't it? They inflate the prices, do a bit of price gouging, bring the prices down, but the prices never come down to the level they were when they decided to raise the prices. But cost comparison websites are up and running. We are trading. All of our utilities that are live at the moment are generating revenue. So it's not just Owner's Utility, it's CVP, Sensation as well. So, yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, that's great that you've got that. There's lots of competition around that. I mean, small businesses are struggling in the UK with the prices that have been charged. I mean, we could go off track, but this is about your project. Green energy as well. Wind and solar is a lot cheaper, but it was priced like it was gas or oil, so the energy companies were making a fortune. So how does the profit share revenue come from the utilities, energy brokerage, and the property portfolio that we've talked about? Will it be if I hold so many tokens, or if I stake my share in the token, will I get revenue from that as well?
Yes, we've got like the passive. Obviously we've got 8 passive income streams, but we have multiple revenue streams, and the revenue streams all generate revenue that goes through our tokenomics and then is rewarded to the people. So you've got your traditional buy sale tax, 4% on each. You've got your staking, obviously, so that's the 3 traditional ones. Then we have 5% of the secondary tokenomics goes to all holders, because not everyone stakes, not everyone wants to stake. Then we have 12.5% is rewarded to the staked tokens. Then we have the tertiary tokenomics, which is a 4% through client, 4% through Owner's Unity token. And then we've got the Owner's Unity outhouse, which is a wedge of tokens, which is locked in perpetuity. It's 10% of the tokens. 70% is rewarded to the NFT holders. 10% goes to charity. And then at the end of every month, one NFT holder is selected randomly and they receive a 20% bonus, so to speak, on the passive income that is garnered by those tokens.
Okay, great. And I was reading on the white paper as well, you're going to have a content creation channel. What's happening around the content creation channel?
Yeah, it's live. If you want to go on your computer, I can give you the website now, and you can you can type it in and check it out for yourself. It's sensation.co. It's not OnlyFans or anything like that. It is it has content for models, but it also has content for creators. It's unique in the fact that it has leaderboards for fans. So fans actually get to go up the leaderboard, and the reward for fans is they can go to boot camps. They can go on shoots with the models, with the photographers. Paul, who isn't here, but he is our CMO. He's worked in promoting since the late 2000s. He's promoted all over the globe, and he knows a lot of famous people, and he does these boot camps. He's got one in the West Indies at the moment, and he's doing one in the Balearic Islands, and he's got more coming on. And you can win. One of the things that you can do from the content creator platform is win trips to these little places and that. So he's trying to make it more client focused.
Okay, so, and will it be like a subscription model, or is it free to use? Will you have it on a mobile app in the future?
Yeah, no, it is already on the mobile, I believe. I don't think it's an app at this moment, but it is being worked on, but it is subscription based.
Okay, great. And does that go into the profit share from the 8 utilities in Owners Unity as well?
Yes, because that is a revenue stream. So we would generate the revenue, all of the utilities that we're building out, the revenue that's generated will all go into our tokenomics and then be divided to you guys. With regards to our real world businesses, all of them are limited companies. We don't have any shareholders. We have agreed not to take any bonuses or to take any dividends. And what we will do is the profit generated, a share of that profit obviously will go back to you guys, because the people that invest in the project, realistically, you guys are you are technically the shareholders. We want to break away from the model where people invest in a token, the people take the money from the token, they then design other things, and the only utilities mainly, but obviously the only reward you really get is the boost in the FOMO and the buy-in. So you've got the buy-sell pressure, but you don't. It's very rare in this space that you actually see the rewards of the products that have been built actually generate in any good volume for you guys. So we've looked to perform this business model to fuse the two sides together, blockchain, crypto, and the real world functionality, so we can provide a methodology that offers you guys real rewards for your investment, but it also looks to safeguard you guys from the volatility of the crypto ecosystem, because as we all know, it's bull and bear cycles. So when the cycle is low, as it is now, there's hardly any buy sell pressure. Your value drops off. You don't really get any rewards, and loads of people leave the space. So we believe that if we can build a model using robust industries like the energy sector, also CVP as well, which is our client verification protocol. Just a fun fact: the global eKYC market is worth around $1.57 trillion at the moment, and it will go up to about $2.7 trillion by 2030, which is roughly a compound annual growth rate of about 21.5%. So the markets that we're in, they're growth markets, even in adverse conditions.
Great, Scott. And let's go into that, the CVP. Yeah, so it's going to be a rival to the KYC. There are problems with KYC. You could hire an actor to sort of come on and pretend to be the head of a project. It's not necessarily them, even if they show identification. So how does the CVP differ? You're going to have 4 tiers for the CVP, initial verification tiers as well, and you're going to look into which KYC doesn't do, as far as I know, criminal and financial background checks on projects.
Yeah, we think it's trying to find that balance, isn't it? There are good actors in this space. I've spoke to El Chapo at Assured and Jonah at Anonidox, and we've had a few talks in the background about bits and bobs. Our client verification protocol, we believe at Owners Unity that clients and investors should have all of the information available to make an informed decision. With that said, you have to abide by the laws and legislations of all of the countries involved, which vary slightly. So we will be doing criminal background checks. We will be doing credit checks. There are multiple other checks you can do, PEP checks, etc. It's biometric. Obviously, with regards to the photo ID, so you have to have the ID in your picture. It also runs through the government authorities, so you can't just make a passport or driving license if it's not been issued by a regulatory authority. Then it won't get past the KYC. With regards to the additional data, there, like I said, there is something in England. I don't know what it's called in other countries, but it's you have a time limit on how long a crime can be declared. So if you have a spent conviction, so let's say when you were 18, you had a fight, and in England, for most crimes, unless it's murder or child offences or something like that, it's 7 years. If if we do a KYC check and we draw up that information, dependent on the type of KYC you're going through. So if it was for nursing, education, etc., then all of that data has to be relayed. If it's, you guys looking to invest in a project, what we plan to do, and this is we haven't said this to anyone else yet, we plan to have a tick box and basically a sheet that has relevant information. So if someone has committed a crime, but it is spent, then we're not going to, declare that. If they have committed we can't, but if it's a crime that is still on the books, so to speak, then we will have two options. We will have a relevant crime and a non-relevant crime. So for instance, a non-relevant crime to us would be, like I said, if you've had a fight with someone. We don't think that having a fight with someone should impact your ability to work in the financial sector. But obviously, if you have any of those types of crimes, we will tick that box and we will interview the individual to get their side of the story. Because again, documents don't give the full story. We will get the client side of the story. There will be a video attached. You can watch that video and then it's up to you to make your decision. But not, we want to put as much information out there for everyone because we're trying to make this space safer. Like I said, spoke to other organisations in this space and they want to move the space forward as well. So hopefully we're getting somewhere with regards to that.
Great, Scott. Sorry, I was unmuted there. And what's the CVP cost compared to KYC? Is it more expensive but more detailed? How are you going to compete with the KYC companies in the crypto space?
It's not more expensive at all. The pricing will remain the same. It might even be lower in certain instances because one, it changes from country to country. Some countries charge more for criminal checks than others, so you have to take that into consideration. And I mean, let's be frank. A lot of the supposed KYC products out there, you're paying, up to $1,500 for nothing, and it doesn't cost that much to do a basic KYC and criminal background check. So most of the prices are just arbitrary. People just thought up prices, and then the first companies thought up the prices, then the other companies come into competition, just decided to put their prices around those prices and just create really large profit margins, and we don't plan to do that.
Okay, great, Scott. And does it have a name? Will it be like Certic, or will it be under the Owners Unity sort of KVC services, and you'll have a website separate to the token?
We do have a separate website called vericheck.me. The product is called CVP, which is Client Verification Protocol. We have the CVP3, which is the web-based crypto product, and we have CVP, which is the real-world product, which is used for, as I said, nursing, education, employment, etc.
As it's more secure than KYC, you're probably going to get more on the sort of projects looking for the CVP services. And you've got 4 tiers, so is it like more strict, and the top tier is sort of the gold standard for investors to look for?
That's what we're planning to do. We're in talks with a couple of other projects that offer security. Because we haven't, I don't like saying that we have an agreement in place when we don't have an agreement in place, but we're looking to make sure, the top tier projects with us are locking their liquidity in their smart contracts, and they are also, having a level of insurance on their project. So that would be the top tier. That's what we're trying to do, and we're in talks with people to get that across the line, but that hasn't been signed off on yet.
Okay, Scott. And with CVP, are you taking it to launch pads? Or have you had any feedback from them if they'll be interested in the services in the future?
Yeah, we're partnered with Vault Novation. We're partnered with Gempad. Assured DeFi do the top tier of Gempad. We're accepted at the lower tiers. We are partnered with Tiny Tesla, who have a launch pad. We've had talks with other launch pads, but like I said, until it's signed off on, I don't like saying who we're dealing with behind the scenes.
And moving on to the token, you've got the autonomics. So that's like the tokenomics. You're gonna have like manual buyback and burns, minimum, maximum limits. Is there going to be to that anti-whale mechanics? Can we go into that anti-dumping?
Yeah, absolutely, not a problem. We do have anti-whale and anti-dumping measures. We've done everything we can to secure the contract, but as I'm sure you're aware, there's nothing, you can't stop someone creating 10 wallets and, you know, doing what they do. But we've got a 0.2% of the overall tokens can be sold at any one time, and if a wallet sells that many, there is a time delay before they can sell the next amount. That obviously means that if there are any exploits or anything, we can get in there quickly and shut it down. So, you know, that's a security feature that we kind of think that most projects should have, and I believe it's, you know, a lot of projects now are doing everything they can to be as secure as possible. We also have a maximum wallet hold of 1% of the total supply.
Yeah, so, and yeah, well, on the white paper it was 0.02%, so it's 0.2%, which makes more sense. And is it like every 24 hours they'd only be able to sell 0.2% or so many hours? How does it work with the anti-dumping?
Yeah, it's 40 minutes at the moment. So after 40 minutes, you can sell more of your product, because you know, some people are upset. It's finding that balance, isn't it? You know, some people are upset when you have a longer term on there. So, you know, should you stop someone from, it's their money, should you technically stop them for a day from taking their money out? We've done what we thought is best, because we think 40 minutes gives us time, if there are any issues, to get in there and then stop anything additional from happening.
Okay, fair enough. And is there any blacklist function on the smart contract?
Yes.
So how would that sort of be used? Just if there's bots or someone's doing something untoward?
Yeah, just pretty much in the traditional methods. So, like you said, if there's bots on there, if people are trying to, you know, utilize the product or try and, you know, sell off more, or if they've done something previously and we can associate the additional wallets with the wallet that we've caught being a bad actor, then we can close it down in that aspect.
Okay, fair enough. And what's the tokenomics breakdown? You've had the 2% was for a private sale. I was wondering if there's a vesting period to that, and also give us a breakdown on the total of the tokenomics.
Yeah, sure, not a problem. With regards to the tokenomics, we do have a small percentage. So it's seed round was 1.25% ish, private was about 2.5%, and pre-sale is about 4.5%, I believe. What we've also done is we have a vesting schedule, but we're very community orientated. So we listened to the community, and the community said, you know, the times being that they are, just can you, you know, do something about the vesting? So we've just brought it all down. We just brought it all down and made it 20% on listing and then 20% a month after, because obviously you've got to weigh up the pros and cons of, people getting their revenue back with, the stability of a project as it's first launched, and making sure that it gets to, grow steadily. So we thought 5 months isn't overtly long for a vesting schedule, especially if you get 20% per month. What we also have is we have an APY on our vested tokens. So a lot of people invest early in projects and they don't really receive any reward because your tokens are locked away. You can't stake them, you can't touch them. So what we've done is we've put an APY on that. So every month that you get your tokens, you'll obviously have a few more as a thank you for believing in the business model and helping us to grow. The tokenomics, we think we found a pretty good balance. So we've got the liquidity pools about 15%, marketing is 10%, development is 10%, future expansion is 9%, the team tokens is 7.75%. You've got 15% for the burn, 15% for the staking, and 10% for the owners Unity OU outhouse. I think it's important to state as well that initially the team tokens will be locked for a minimum of a year. The marketing tokens and the development tokens are both locked for 3 months. 11% of the liquidity will also be locked. The future that will be locked permanently, but we will be able to go back and ask the community if we need to make changes. We then need the community to approve the changes we want to make before we can access that. Future expansion is locked for 5 months. Staking is permanent. Outlaws Outhouse is permanent, and the burn is obviously permanent. So to start with, about 87.5% will be locked at listing. And we envisage with the developments that we are running through at the moment that there will never be more than between 20 and 22.5% of the tokens ever in circulation.
Okay, great, Scott. And the autonomics, I was looking at the BUSD rewards. How does that work for investors? Would you have to hold so many tokens, or is that based on staking?
We want everyone, the whole idea of this is to try and produce a product that obviously incentivizes you guys to jump on board, but also moves into the real world space so we can educate people to the difference to start with between blockchain and crypto. A lot of people out there don't even know the difference between the two, and obviously provide tangible benefits to real world people in their everyday lives. Most people don't care about staking tokens or NFTs for a 17.5% APY. They care about how am I going to put a roof over my head, keep a roof over my head, feed the kids, pay my medical bills, all these real world things that impact them in their everyday life. So the products that we've designed, we look to provide them with a real world tangible benefit. We believe that will then draw more people into the space in a positive fashion. And by doing that, we will then open them up to the markets. They'll visit other projects and we'll grow the space and bring them into a safe environment. So that's what we plan to do. All of the tokens, everyone gets a reward. So you guys holding the tokens, the tokenomics is designed for you to receive benefits, whether you stake or you don't stake. There's no minimum amount. If you purchased 1 token, you would get the equivalent of 1 token's worth of rewards.
Okay, I see, Scott. And the out token, like you mentioned, you're involved in the community with decisions. So I'm wondering if it's going to be a governance token with a DAO voting rights for the community in the future as well.
Yeah, we're working on something similar to a DAO. I think DAOs can be, well, everything can be manipulated, obviously, but I think DAOs are weighted more towards your whales and your large investors, and the little people don't really get heard. So we're trying to use a more even-handed approach and use a different business model overall. So we're trying to do one wallet, one vote type scenario. Again, if someone wants to break down their tokens into 50 wallets, there's not really much we can do. But obviously we can track the wallets and find if any associations, and then, we can blacklist them from voting. But the community is key to us. Half of our team has been promoted from our community because they have relevance in the fields that we work in. They have relevance in the fields that we are developing in. And it's just good to utilize all of the people in this space, because this concept is only a concept. It's not perfectly formed. We've had a lot of good ideas that have been passed over to us from the community, and we've adopted them. And we believe they've made a much better product than what we originally envisioned.
Awesome, Scott. Yeah, I see you started in Q4 2021, so it's around 16 months you've been out. So you've been building everything around what you want to offer with the 8 utilities over a period, and you've been building up this community. And you say that half the team as well now have joined from the community.
Yeah, we found, it's a lot of projects out there. They have a white paper. They give you guys a vision. They get the right sounding people to get you guys interested. You put your money in, and then there's no real substance behind it. We come out with a business model that is unique and different. So we've decided that it would be best for us to say, this is our product. Our white paper is obviously lengthy because it's a unique and in-depth model. So we had the white paper. We decided then that we actually needed to provide evidence of the product that we were providing. So we went out there and we built out the energy brokerage, which is now has partnerships with telecommunications companies. So not only can we provide utilities, we can provide all forms of telecoms solutions. We have relationships with renewable agencies, so we can provide renewable energies, voltage optimization. So we've filled the full gamut in that area as to what we can provide. So we've built that out behind the scenes with the content creator platform. Paul's been working on that for years to get that up and running. He's had the concept, building out the concept. These things don't happen overnight. So we've built, that product's been built out. CVP, obviously, again, we took a base product and we built the product out, and then we added a real world option to it as well. So all of our products have dual capabilities, both in the real world and obviously both in the crypto space. And that's the model we believe that needs to be adopted moving forward, so that we can drive adoption and grow this space for everyone, so that all of us get to benefit from the products that are being produced. And until we, make crypto and blockchain mainstream, we're always going to be stuck in this, small pool of everyone sort of like cannibalizing each other's projects to get revenue. We're looking outside of that to bring in fresh revenue.
Okay, great, Scott. And what partnerships have you been building? You mentioned a few in the real world there. Have you been building any partnerships in the crypto space as well?
Yes, we've built some very good partnerships, I believe, in the crypto space. A lot of like-minded people. I think if I start with a few, we are partnered with Interfi. So CVP does the credit checks and the background checks, and Interfi do the audit checks for the crypto side. Like I said, we're partnered with Gempad. We're partnered with Vault Finance. We're working on quite a few things behind the scenes with Vault Finance. We're partnered with Ember. We're partnered with Anonidocs. We're partnered with Greedy Grants, Newton Mint Labs. We're working in affiliation with Everrise. We're working with Revival of Avalanche, which is a game. We're in talks with a lot of other projects about partnerships, but each of the partnership has to offer value to each other. Partners with Master Key Finance as well. We've got a lot of partnerships because one of the things that we're doing is we tie a portfolio to our product. So, for instance, if when someone goes through our OUPP program and they end up in a property, we tie a portfolio to that property so that that property then provides passive income for the client in situ in the property. We have a core set of tokens that we plan to put into each of those portfolios. They can have a choice whether they want a high volume crypto portfolio or a mix of crypto and traditional assets portfolio. Our core partners, all of their tokens, Y5 is a partner as well. So Y5, MKF, Vault Finance, Interfi, Gempad, these projects that have tokens, we will be utilizing their product and putting their product into every portfolio. And that means that as our client base grows, they will receive, a great accessibility to the market, and they will be able to, put eyes on these projects as well. So we think that that's important.
Okay, great, Scott. And what's the what stage are we at for investors? Is it a pre-sale stage? I know we're going to be offering 10 whitelist spots for anyone who joins the Telegram. You just have to say Dravos promise when you're joining the VC, not the VC, but the Telegram, should I say? And you can win one of the white spots. So stay tuned for that. But what stage are we at for investors to get involved?
Yeah, we're ready to go. We've got the pre-sale starting tomorrow. As soon as the pre-sale closes, we're listing and we're good to go.
Great. And if someone wins one of the whitelist spots, what's the minimum maximum on the pre-sale? And is it on Gempad? That's one of our partners as well. It's great that you've got them as a partner.
It's Gempad only with regards to pancakes. What Gempad, as far as we're concerned, are an exceptional quality product. We're very proud to be partnered with the guys over there. Absolutely great team, professional, always looking out for, not only you guys as the clients, but they want to make sure that you get eyes on only projects that they believe are going to provide you guys with good revenue moving forward. So we're stoked for them to have partnered with us in the first place, and then obviously to be listing with them. But your whitelist will go on Gempad, yes.
Awesome, Scott. And have you been working with them with the CVP package? Because I know they've always been trying to improve on KYC. They've not had too many sort of rug pulls on there. I think there's only a couple on their Gempad, so they've had a great track record of about 600 projects launching there. So I'm wondering, what their thoughts were on CVP, and if they're going to be, including that in future with Owners Unity.
Yeah, they utilise us as is. So if someone comes to us and has their KYC done through us, then it is acceptable on Gempad. They have an exclusivity deal with Assured DeFi, who again are an exceptional quality KYC product for the very top tiers. So if you want to go on their top tiers, you go through Assured DeFi. If you want to use the lower tiers, you can utilise us. They literally, to them, it's key that the projects that they put on their pad are safe, secure, and that they are going to, bring you guys revenue. So your project has to be put together, all of the documentation, all of the background. You can't just go there to them and say, I thought this idea up 3 months ago, let's go on your site. They're not going to do that. They're very, very thorough, and I believe they will be the #1 launchpad in this space moving forward.
Awesome. And have you had an audit on the smart contract before launch, or is that coming after launch?
No, all of our contracts have been audited. We had them audited by Interfi We've already upgraded to version 2 because that's something that we plan to do on a regular basis. Obviously, technology moves forward. You know, if you don't change your contract, you're leaving yourself open to, you know, exploits. We're on version 2 of the token at the moment. That's been audited. You can go on GitHub. Our pre-sale vesting contract has been audited. Our staking contract, because staking will be live at launch as well. That's also been audited. So you can go on Interfi and you can go through all of our documentation. The other thing about the audits and that, with regards to our dApps and our contracts, we've put them through penetration testing, you know, just to make sure that everything is as secure as possible before we take it to market.
I see, Scott. And you've also got a lottery platform. How can investors get involved with that? How does that work? Is it like a daily or a weekly draw?
Yeah, we have multiple apps that are there that we're building out so that we can generate revenue for you guys. The lottery hasn't been developed yet; it's in development at the moment. All we have live is the staking, CVP3, the content creator platform, ownersutility.com. That's what's live at the moment. In the next quarter, to let's say end of Q2, Q3, because we all know that even with the best intention, when you go through testing, etc., little things can come up. We plan to roll out 4 other utilities, real world and crypto based, but until they're actually here, I don't believe in, you know, just trying to create some kind of, you know, hype around a product. When the product gets here, we're working on it. When it gets here, we'll tell you about it. Then that way there's no disappointment. But we'll ask the community with regards to the timescales. That we could have multiple lotteries, one that's a small one that happens daily, one that's bigger that happens weekly. It's up to the community and what they want.
Okay, fair enough, Scott. And I'm wondering if you've got like educational resources for new investors and around, you know, the property portfolio. Could people invest in the token and then apply for property from you in the future? And can businesses join the community and get quotes for utility energy prices?
Yes, 100%. With regards to educational, we believe strongly that you need to educate people coming into the space. You know, I think that's what one of the big problems is. People turn up, you know, they don't really know what they're doing, and then they get sucked in by all the snake oil salesmen. They have a bad experience, then they go back into the real world and they say, you know, crypto's horrific. And then, you know, word of mouth, whether you like it or not, to me is still the best form of advertising and marketing. So we're working behind the scenes with there's a core of really, really good projects in this space who all have the same ethos, and that ethos is bringing crypto and blockchain into the light, making it safer, making it more secure, and educating people. We don't believe that any one project or business in this space can do it all themselves. So we've partnered with projects that have products that, yeah, we could develop ourselves, but why develop them if they already have the product out there? So we're working, as I said, with a core group of projects. And with regards to education, there's a lot of things coming that the space will be happy with, that these projects are doing as a whole to, as I said, bring the whole space into the light.
Okay, great, Scott. And what's the marketing plans going forward, say over the next quarter, to promote all the utilities, the token, and everything around Owners Unity?
Yeah, we'll be doing the traditional. We'll be doing billboards. We'll be doing YouTube. We'll be doing all the other socials. We will be utilising Google, obviously, to get the real world products front and centre. We'll be using articles, you know, radio, all of the traditional formats moving forward. Because obviously, where we have both types of business product, we need to make sure that the real world businesses are promoted as much, or if not more, than the crypto side.
Okay, Scott, let's open up to community questions. Let's see. We've got Syed here. You had a question for Scott at Owners Unity. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Glenn. I have a few questions. So you said that you will collaborate with the various governments for identity verification and the background checks. So it got me thinking that what if these government agencies do not comply with your request for verifying individual credentials and perform back checks? So how will you be addressing this issue?
In regards to, how do you mean they would not comply with the data? For instance, with regards to your basic KYC, the product we use uses biometric verification. So if you have any form of documentation that was, produced by a government body and provided to you, and there's not many places in the world where you don't have, a government regulated document, then it will go through. And in all honesty, if they're not compliant, they'll fail. We're doing what we can to give as many people the option to, put themselves through a process, but not everyone can go through a process. So we have to make sure that we do what we do. We have standards, we have, regulations, and if they're not met, then you fail. That's just how it is.
Yeah, it makes sense. Okay, according to your white paper, if a project reviewed by CVP engages in a scam or rug pull against its investors, Owners Unity will collaborate with the legal and investigative authorities. So, can you clarify, will you report these wrongdoers to the investigative authorities in your region and request them to contact relevant investigative agencies in the country concerned, or you will work directly with the authorities in the respective country to cooperate with the investigation? How will that going to work?
What we will do is, there's no point reporting everything in our locality. We are a global business, so the solicitors that we use, I call them solicitors because I'm from England, but you might call them lawyers. But the solicitors we use a company that will have international ties, and they will obviously deal with the local authorities. We'll hand over all the information we have to them, and we will actively work with them to ensure that they get all of the data and information that they need.
Okay, got it. May I also know that where will all the personal information provided by the clients for identity verification, such as phone numbers, addresses, and identification documents, going to be stored? Will you be storing them on the centralized servers, or you will be using any decentralized servers? And also, will this all data be encrypted?
Yes, it will. We use a specific world-renowned company to do our KYC. They're fully compliant with every country's regulations. So, with regards to data protection, all of your data and all of your information, none of it is kept on any of our servers. It's kept independently on their servers. We don't provide any personal information or data. We do have in our documentation that you agree to allow us to utilize some of the data so that we can put it on the worksheet. That worksheet is attached to CVP. So when you have a project or an individual, you can click on that individual and it will give you a breakdown of the facts of that individual. With their permission, you're allowed to do that, but any other data will be stored securely by our business partner.
Understood. Okay, you talked about the content creation channel. So I'm curious to know whether this platform is exclusive to the big influencers, creators, and the celebrities, or whether micro influencers and the creators can also utilize Owner's Utility content creation platform.
Yeah, it's a difficult one. We have tried to keep it as open as possible, but you have to have standards. Paul has worked exclusively with a certain standard of individual, so he won't allow certain types of people onto his platform. But that doesn't mean that it's just due to your financial status, because that's not the way you should judge people.
Okay, and do you have any specific guidelines or policies in place for the content creators who are using your platform?
Yes, if you have a look on the platform itself, which is up and running and live. So if you go to sensation.co, you can go there, you can have a look, and you will find the T's and C's.
Okay, and are you also generating ad revenue from this platform?
All of our live products are generating revenue as we speak. There was a slight delay in the owner's utility because at the back end of last year, the government in the UK made changes so that you had to go through an additional arbitration process. So they asked third-party brokers to go through this additional license, otherwise you couldn't then trade with the suppliers. So we went through that process, and our CRM system, which is through a partner of ours called Power, we chose Power because they have more APIs, so we can get more data uploaded onto the blockchain, so you guys have more transparency. But due to the change, it impacted them too, and they changed out all of their pricing methods. So they had to do a lot of redeveloping, and it took them 3 months to get back up and running. They got back up and running at the end of February. So from December to February, we weren't generating any revenue through the energy brokerage. It's now back up and running. We've closed some contracts and we are now operational on all of our live products.
Wonderful. Okay, on your white paper, it is mentioned that your content creation platform is supported by the celebrities and influencers from around the world. Can you provide more information on which specific celebrities and influencers are endorsing your platform?
Yeah, if you go on the website, you'll be able to see. Paul works with all of the people from Geordie Shore. I'm not familiar with them, but he's worked with the people from Geordie Shore, from The Only Way is Essex. You know, all of those influencers, those type of people. He's worked with the same similar type of person in America and globally. So if you go on the website, you'll be able to see the level of individual that's on there. And I think the photographer that on there is a world-renowned photographer from Los Angeles, the main one that's on the site.
Awesome. Okay, final question. So your white paper indicates that the businesses of the various that you are working with the various companies for their energy management requirements. So I'm curious, do you manage this through your own energy management or monitoring system or software to assist the businesses in helping and managing their energy usage?
Some yes, some no. So it depends on the level of management that your clients want. What we try to do is act as a broker. So we act as a facilitator in a lot of cases. Some of our clients want us to manage not only their utilities, but obviously the telecoms and all of the business variables. So we work with them on that. In general, what we like to do is allow people, so if we connect someone with EDF have their own online system. So we set up their own online system for them. We guide them, we help them, then they have direct access. We're not trying to, overtake their businesses, because there's a lot of businesses in this industry that do something called white labeling. And there's a couple of really horrific companies, which I won't mention, but they make it really difficult in the space. So we try to take a balanced approach where, yes, some of our clients, we have access to all their data at all times. We send them, I send them reports so they can have an hourly report, which is no point, to be honest, weekly, monthly, quarterly, biannually, annually. We tend to tell them, depending on the size of their meter, obviously, if you've only got a retail meter, so basically a small meter, and you've got small usage, we tend to tell them once a month, have a look, make sure that you get the read, and then you send that off. Don't pay any bills that are just based on an estimate, especially when you've got a smart meter. A lot of people forget that the smart meter is actually independent of the supplier that supplies your energy. So you might not be getting the data through because it might be with a different provider, because again, to try and keep their clients on board, they alternate the length of the contract. So it's very rare that the actual data reader contract is the same length as the supplier contract, which is another little thing they do. So we try to educate the people, make sure they have the data at hand so that they are secure. And then if they don't want to use us moving forward, they're not beholden to us. You know, everyone should have their ability to make their own choices. So whilst we facilitate, we try to offer a level of independence for people.
Understood. Thank you so much for answering all my questions. Over to you, Glenn.
Thanks for the questions, Acti. And I was wondering, Scott, going back to the property portfolio, how it works. Are you taking out mortgages for the clients and then they pay you back over a 20, 30-year period? How does it sort of work, and deposits that they'd have to put down, things like that?
No, there's no mortgages, there's no loans involved whatsoever, and it's designed around the business model. So we have real world businesses, for instance, the energy brokerage. The average income per salesperson, the monthly target is somewhere between £10,000 and £25,000 a month. So what you do is, once you get up to about a team of 16 salespeople, you generate revenue between £80,000 and £250,000 a month. When you're generating that revenue, obviously you can purchase a property. That property is then purchased by us, no loan. We secure that. We then put people in the properties. Once they're in the properties, if we pay £100,000 for the property, they will pay £100,000 plus, all of the legal fees that it costs to take ownership of a property. They come in situ. They then make their monthly payment. Once the monthly payment is made, we then also utilise that monthly payment in with our tokenomics to generate revenue. We then take out the initial stake, so to speak, and then the profits generated by that revenue is divided amongst our token holders, and some of it goes back to the client. That reduces the amount of time that the client has to pay the debt in situ, and then once they meet the target, which can reduce the amount of time it takes you to own your own property anywhere by 5 to 10 years. So you might be paying for a property only for 15 years. You then take ownership. We then utilise the revenue that we've generated and purchase more properties. The end goal, though, Glenn, is to obviously build our own properties.
Great, Scott. I was wondering if you're going to utilise, how you help businesses reduce energy consumption. Would you put like solar on these properties as well?
Aha! You're trying to get me to give away secrets. I'll just give. I always get told off because I always go too far, but I know that you know a bit about this, so I'm going to tell you. Just imagine if you had a scenario where you had a small community in a closed system that only has a single conduit onto the grid. You're producing your own energy for this closed system, whether it's biomass, whether it's wind, whether it's water, whether it's solar. The excess energy is being sent through the conduit back to the grid. They're paying you, so the extra revenue provides passive income for that community, and then you're also insulated against any of the cost increases that your traditional companies would try to put on you. So yes, renewables are the key as far as we're concerned moving forward, but you have to be in the system to change the system, don't you?
Yeah, well, see, you have them protest groups as well. They want all the housing in the UK to be insulated, where you wouldn't use that much energy anyway, and then solar is a no-brainer nowadays with the cost of electric. It'll pay itself back pretty quick. So yeah, it sounds a good idea to offer all sorts of loft insulation and things like that with properties, maybe more down the line when you're building your own as well in the future.
build them with voltage optimization as well. And you can use, blockchain technology to actually manage your homes. So, all of the appliances in your homes run off energy. You can have a system, that watches the voltage when it comes in the door. So it's about 230, 238 that it comes in at on average in the UK, when all of your systems are designed around 220. So all of your appliances are running hot. If you've got voltage optimization, obviously you can reduce that down to the correct voltage, comes in your house. You've got your system. Let's say your dishwasher is, using more energy than it should do. It will alert the system. The system sends an alert to your DAP. You click on that and you can arrange an appointment for a vetted maintenance worker to come out and do the repairs on your dishwasher or additional appliances. That's probably me saying too much, but we have a roadmap and a vision for exactly what we plan to do moving forward. We plan to be a long-term established business. This isn't, we've got a roadmap for years, not for months.
Scott, and you mentioned carbon footprints as well on the white paper. So, a lot of crypto projects are doing tokens around carbon credits as well, and that's something you could maybe branch out into in the future.
Yeah, but I'm not a big fan of carbon credits, to be honest, because it's just shifting the damage from one area to another. For instance, as I'm sure you're aware, we have a company in the UK who I won't mention because, just to be on the safe side, that offer you supposedly green energy. But what they're doing is they're chopping down trees in Canada, North America, sticking them on tankers and shipping them over to burn them, turn into pellets to produce supposedly green energy. That's not really green energy, is it? But they're allowed to claim it because of the loopholes. So, carbon credits, that the whole idea that I still produce a CO2 footprint here, but then I'm building something in India, a hydroelectric dam. China's the place for hydroelectric dams at the moment. I believe that's where a lot of the carbon credits are going, building hydroelectric dams. So me in England, I'm still good to be burning CO2. You're not really. That's just my concept. But if people want it and it does help reduce the CO2 footprint, if the community voted on it, it's something that we'd look into. I just think it's a loophole and it's a gimmick that the industry uses to try and portray themselves as being eco-friendly.
It's a game of pasta parcel, really, but there's lots of scams even in renewable. Wood pellets is not environmentally friendly at all. Let's move on to another question. Let's see, we've got Western Beast. You had a question for Scott, Owners Unity. Go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Glenn. Okay, I wanted asking, I saw on your website that you're actually registered as a company. I wanted asking, how did you and your legal team address the fact that you're working as a registered company while you're working in the Web3 domain?
Well, no, that's a great question. I think what you've got to do is actually step back and look at the structure of the company. So we have crypto products and a business, and we have real world products and a business. When we trade in the real world, we're not trading in crypto. The crossover comes in the fusing of the tokenomics, and as long as you pay your taxes, you're fine. So that's something to clarify. What I'd also like to clarify is we are looking to bring crypto and blockchain into the real world domain and make it mainstream. So to do that, you have to play within the rules and regulations. We are developing products that are specifically designed to be regulatory compliant. Every product we have is compliant. Like I said, we've spoken to legal teams in Australia, in India. I've been in contact with the FCA multiple times, and I'll tell you an interesting story. I went to them with regards to CVP and one of the developments that we're working on with our partners about CVP. And I went to the FCA and asked them, which parts of their regulations we should, look to utilize in what we're building to make sure that we're compliant for when they bring regulation into the space. Because whether we like it or not, regulation is coming into this space. They passed me around to 5 different departments. No one could help me. So they want to regulate the space, but they don't know what they're doing. So what we need to do is take a hard, long stare at ourselves, step up, do some self-regulation, and then when they come to this space to force their laws down our throats, if we have something in place that is fair, firm, and works, there's a good probability that they will adopt some of that, and then they won't be so draconian in their approach. But we're fully compliant.
Okay, so you basically mentioned countries that are reasonable. Will I say reasonable when providing regulation and enforcement of regulation? But how about regulatory strict countries? We're talking about countries like the US and even the European Union, because I believe that when owners' unity expand, there is no how it will not expand to reach these zones. Would you shift your regulatory policies so that you can adjust to these regions?
We will work within the regulatory frameworks of each country to do what we're doing. And what you have to remember is what we're doing is crypto-based and it is real-world based. And it's not as if every aspect of the real-world utilities are concentrated in crypto. So, for instance, OUPP is fiat-based. Everything that happens there is fiat. Okay, there's no crypto actually involved in the transactions in that company. When it comes to owner's utility, it is fiat-based. There is no crypto involved in that company. So the crossover is what you do with the revenue. And as we all know, all of the governments have left lots of loopholes in their laws so that they can do what they want basically with their revenue. All we're saying is take those loopholes, take the regulations as is, work in the space, and instead of using those loopholes to enrich yourself, use them to put some of the revenue and some of the power back into the hands of the consumer.
Okay, thanks a lot for that detailed answer. I think it's quite clearer now. I wanted asking about your lottery platform. You see, I'm seeing here that the winners will be selected by a proven fair algorithm. Normally, those who contribute more to a lottery usually stand a higher chance of getting picked. Is this the same policy with the lottery that you guys are actually running? Because those who invest smaller have lesser chances compared to those who actually invest higher in that lottery. So will this algorithm be fair to both parties?
Yeah, that's a great question. Obviously, we don't have the lottery up and running at the moment. That's key to know. And what we will do, as you hopefully have heard through all of my presentation, is we believe in fairness. We try to make sure that everything is weighted as equally as possible. So the algorithm that is used will be giving everyone hopefully as an equal an opportunity as possible. But like I always say as well, we'll be as fair as we can in the products that we produce. But if someone is hell-bent on, cutting corners, sometimes they'll get away with it.
Okay. I would like to see your take on middlemen, because I'm seeing in your problem and product statement here that you said in some cases it's actually impossible to get on the housing ladder. There are agents who actually work as middlemen. Is there any avenue for these middlemen to participate in the owner's utility platform? If you understand the concept of the middlemen, those who are between the house owners and those who intend to, participate in owning or in working with that particular property. What owners' unity's role with these middlemen? Will the middlemen be allowed to participate?
That's one for the community as well. As far as we're concerned, the whole idea of DeFi is to kind of cut out the middleman, isn't it? The whole idea of the space is to give more opportunity to the end user. But if say for instance, we will partner with middlemen. So, for instance, if there are established agencies out there that want to utilize traditional mortgage platforms, but they also want to offer our service, then we would allow them to utilize our service as well. You know, you have to put the product out there where it can reach the most people. So, you know, we are prepared for any eventuality with regards to how our product gets to market, but we will not compromise our ethos. So we won't, you know, we won't allow one client to own multiple properties. You know, it's basically for people to start with to get on the ladder. So, for instance, there's a lot of people out there at the moment, and some of you will probably understand this, and you'll know people that have been in this situation. They've had a choice of paying medical bills, so it left them with an adverse credit rating. You know, people have received tickets, parking ticket, and in the UK especially, it's not done by recorded delivery. So they'll send the ticket to the wrong address. You don't know about it. You'll go to get a mortgage, and it will show up that you've got bad credit because you had a ticket. Obviously, with the pandemic, that's also adversely impacted a lot of people's credit ratings. So we are looking to give these people an opportunity too. You know, if you have 100 grand in your bank account and you've got 2 properties and you're looking for a third property, we're not the place to be looking.
Okay, did someone cut out there? I can't hear anyone.
Yeah, I also can't hear him. I think that's cut off.
Yeah, can you hear me now? No, I just finished talking. I thought I'd answered the question. I do apologize.
Oh, all right, okay. So here's my final question. The statements where you say that you help businesses get more value for their energy contracts, reduce their energy consumption, and lower their carbon footprint. The first thing that actually comes to my mind when I see the two words carbon footprints together is carbon credits. So are you partnering with any organization that provides or gives out carbon credits?
No, because I don't believe in carbon credits. You can reduce someone's. So, for instance, if you get someone utilize solar panels and voltage optimization, you reduce the amount of bleed, which reduces the amount of usage, which reduces their carbon footprint. You don't always have to provide carbon credits. There are also ways in the UK you can get green energy. So we try to promote green energy. We try to offer and promote cost-saving technologies, because it's we try to get people to plan for the long term. So we try to get them to see that, it's an expression we have in England, penny wise, pound foolish. We try to make sure that we offer people as many alternatives as we can to reduce their carbon footprint, to offer them, long-term sustainability. I think the key is getting people to realise that at some point they have to make the swap, and it's a false economy sticking to the traditional methods and not making the change, because if you do make the change further down the line, it's going to end up costing you more money. It doesn't work all the time, but all we can do is give the information to the potential client and, hopefully steer them in the direction of making a good decision.
I am also a very big fan of, reduced energy usage. I believe appliances that are not in use should be turned off, because if you increase it on a larger scale, it actually reduces the overall energy consumption. I really want to appreciate you, Daz, for giving detailed answers to my questions. Owners Unity actually sounds like a really cool project. I'm wishing you guys the very best, and I hope that the Owners Unity project stays bullish movement. Thanks a lot, Glenn. To you.
Thank you.
Thank you for the questions, Weston. Let's move to, let's see, we've got Venice here. The screen's jumping. Venice, you had a question for Scott, Owners Unity. Go ahead.
Yeah, Ken. Thank you. Okay, it got me thinking that if CVP process is as comprehensive and rigorous as your white paper claims, why hasn't any other company in the cryptocurrency industry introduced a similar process yet?
Yeah, great question. I don't know would be the answer. It's it's the same with any situation. If someone has a product, everyone accepts that that product is the standard for the product, then people don't feel that they need to then advance the product, do they? If everyone had a perfect product to start with, there would be no innovation and no advancement.
Okay, and how does your team plan to ensure that the CVP is accessible and affordable to all types of projects and teams, especially given the potential costs involved in implementing the most advanced identity verification and biometric analysis technologies available?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. It's a misconception which I think is established in the space that it's really expensive to get these things done. It's not. As a team, we will obviously we're partnered with very good real world businesses. Verif is one of them, for instance. So what we do is we will, whilst we're partnered with them, we will still look and make sure that we have fair prices on the market. It's also done by volume, which hopefully you can appreciate. But if you look at our white paper and the whole ethos behind our project, we are in this to make money. Of course, we're a business, but we believe in profit by volume. So if we have a great product, that even a great product that is in a similar ilk to other products, but we are charging less for a similar or better product, more people will utilize us. So although we're making less profit off the individual transaction, the multiplication of the transactions brings in greater revenue. So that's the concept behind all of our business models. If you look through the white paper in any aspect, you'll see that we're all about not overcharging and returning a percentage of everything we do back to the community.
Okay, it completely makes sense. And I have a question regarding the property portfolio. That are there any backup plans if the tokenomics system does not work as intended? And how will you guys protect the investments of your clients and stakeholders?
Yeah, that's a great question. We do have backup plans if the tokenomics don't work. The tokenomics are really simple, and we have a core. The only thing that we haven't revealed is the very core of our product. If you look at our white paper, it goes in depth into just about everything we do, except the absolute heart of the product. Because hopefully, as you're aware, if we put out everything we were doing, there'd be 5 other projects doing it. The way it's safeguarded is it's a very simple product, and although the white paper goes into a lot of detail, it's very simple. As real world businesses, we will be producing revenue independent of the revenue that is introduced by you and the other investors. The revenue that is generated there acts as a safeguard for you guys and your investment, so that if there is a downturn in the market, you guys are still receiving revenue. The way that you guys get rewarded in its basic form is by receiving a percentage of the revenue generated by the real world companies. For us to fail in that aspect of the business model, we would have to have all of the businesses in all of the industries, falter at the same time. If you look at our team and you look at the business experience that we have in all of these fields, it's unlikely that this will happen. It is always a possibility. Nothing is, written in stone. There's no product or project that is 100% guaranteed success. But we have put as many fail-safes in place to ensure that this project will work. It's compartmentalized. So each utility, whilst it has a hybrid feature, is independent of itself. So CVP and CVP3, whilst joined, are independent. So if the crypto CVP3 failed, CVP would still be functioning part of that business. The energy brokerage, business to business, if that failed, we would still be able to utilize retail. With regards to the sensation, that's the only one that might be tricky if that went down. If people stopped, having art as an inspiration and wanting to, view that kind of material, then we'd be in trouble. But for all of these things to go down, the property market, even in a downturn, people still need homes. It's not the fact that people stop wanting homes. It's just the fact there's even less homes to purchase. So if you were still building properties, you'd still put people in them. So we've built in as many safeguards as we can. So the central core of what we do to generate revenue, we've tested. It does generate revenue. Remember, the revenue and the returns are both short-term and long-term. If you're tying portfolios, some of those are going to fail as well. Some of the shares are going to go down. Some of the tokens that we invest in, no one's 100% successful in the tokens that they invest in. But it would take a lot for everything to, multiple black swan events all at the same time would take us down. People in situ in the houses. So if we've got clients in the houses and they've been in the houses more than 5 years and the company went under, written into the contract is the fact that the properties would be signed over to them. So we're not only protecting you guys as investors, we're protecting the clients in situ. We're also developing a product that will be released by the end of Q2, Q3, which is going to revolutionize that marketplace as well. So we're working on building a product that is as robust as possible, but there is no product out there that is invincible. And anyone that tries to sell you the myth that they are isn't being honest with you.
Okay, that's really great. And one last question from my side. So, as we discussed about your CVP verification process, so how can you assure potential investors or community members that your team has undergone the same rigorous CVP verification process that you offer to your clients? And are there any evidence or third-party verification that your team has passed the CVP level 3 or level 4 verification processes?
Yeah, no, I wouldn't put our team through our process, because that's just, it's not right. So we have been vetted in our own right by Reflex and Anonidocs. Some other team members have been vetted by Anonidocs and also by other KYC products in the space. We believe in our product. We value our product. We're working on a back end to our product that will provide you all of the data and information, like I said, that you need to make an informed decision on the projects that you invest in moving forward. But I wouldn't trust a business that comes to you and says, of course we're good, we've KYC'd ourselves.
Yeah, I believe that. I was just asking because if there's any third party or any other company that you ask them that they should perform this rigorous process on you so that you guys can provide some kind of evidence. So yeah, I understand your answer, by the way, and thank you so much for answering my all other questions as well.
No, that's fine, bud. And just to clarify that, it's hard to ask someone else, if we say to someone, this is our process, and then you give them over, you give them over the full process, because obviously we haven't put the full process down on the paperwork. If we then provided them the full process and said, can you run that check on us? They'd be like, that looks good. And then the next day you would have someone else providing your product as well. So it kind of makes it difficult to do that, if you can understand.
Yeah, okay, I understand, and thank you so much for answering.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you for the questions, Venice. Unfortunately, we've run out of time today. It's been great speaking to Scott from Owners Unity. They've been working on the project for over a year, so they've got all the utilities attached to the project. And as we say, Wellcoin Talk is for education and research. It's not financial advice, but we recommend you check out the Owners Unity website, the white paper, digest some of that. And if anyone's got any more questions, you can join the official socials. We've got the links in our main chat, and there's also 10 whitelist spots to win if you join their Telegram. Say Dravos Promise when you join the Telegram, and you can win a whitelist spot for the Gempad pre-sale tomorrow. And we've got Spin the Wheel up here now.
Yeah, I got the wheel up here, Glenn. to interrupt you there. I'll already have our first winner. I'm going to shuffle it we're going to get 4 winners, $25 each. And as Glenn was mentioning there, guys, we still have the chat locked, so all the official links are right there. I always recommend you go to the official website, and there's a lot of information to digest. I know Scott has done a great job of putting showing us a nice little deep dive into the whole system. But if you still have questions, just go to the official website, read through it, engage with the community if this is something you want to learn more about or something you want to back. And there's still some waitlist spots there. Thank you for those. And this, I think, is going to be the 4th spin. Congratulations, Mr. and Mrs. Denson. And I have your IDs, and we're gonna announce the winners in our main chat after we close things down here. So thank you for tuning in, thank you for participating, everyone. Thank you to Owners Unity for being here. Thank you, Scott, for the nice breakdown. So and thank you again, Glenn, for the nice hosting as well.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thanks,
and
thanks.
if anyone has any questions, just jump on. Sorry about that, Glenn. Right.
You're right. Sorry, no, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, say thanks for having us. Great room, great talk. And if anyone has any more questions, we have an unlimited questions policy at Owners Unity. Thanks very much for the time.
Thank you for coming there, Scott. Yeah, looking forward to the future for the community and team. I'll finish the recording and send over a copy for you to share. And I'll send that into the main chat for anyone who wasn't on the call tonight.
Thank you.